Well, hello there.
Hello there.
Hello.
And welcome to Breakfast with the PMs.
Ooh. Episode 4?
This is episode 4.
Wow. Crazy. Do you think there's anyone listening yet?
I think numbers
or
probably
still rather
are dropping off. So
numbers dropping off? Yeah.
We've recorded a bit in advance, and last Friday, episode 1 has launched in our time. Mm-hmm. I think some people have listened. But
yeah, they have.
Do you think
it's really cute.
It is cute.
Everyone's being so encouraging and lovely, and I feel a bit embarrassed.
We're doing this thing and putting it out there, and every time someone says they're listening, we're like, oh no.
I know.
What have we said?
Do you think your friends are listening?
Who knows? No, I don't know. I have no idea. We haven't really.
I think you had a message from America, didn't you?
Oh. Tina in America.
Yeah. She definitely listened to episode 1.
Sweet.
Whether she's still here in episode 4.
Well,
yeah, exactly. Yeah, there we go.
Yeah. Dad, how are you?
I am fine. Yeah, no, I am fine.
You're going to have to think of a new answer.
Yeah. Well, I'm fine.
Yeah. Not good, not bad?
Well, I woke up this morning, which is always a bonus.
I'm grateful for that.
I'm still vaguely upright, which is always a bonus. Sun's shining. I've already had my broccoli sprouts.
Delicious.
And with olive oil and salt.
Have you?
Yeah. No, well, it's not breakfast, really. It's a sort of little medicinal thing.
Okay.
Is that your daily routine?
Yeah. And also
broccoli sprouts.
Some turmeric and ginger. Had a turmeric and ginger shot.
Yeah.
My vitamin D tablet.
Yeah. Lots of supplements.
Rather boring.
Do you still take vitamin D when it's sunny?
Yes.
Do you?
Yeah, I do. Is that odd?
Very.
Okay. Well, you know me. There's always a bit of an odd somewhere.
I'm glad you're fine.
I'm fine. Thanks.
Pamela.
Fine.
I'm great this morning.
Whoa.
Nice little swimmage in the sea this morning. And,
bless you, dog.
There we go.
And it was heavenly on the beach this morning. Flat, calm, clear water, no one on the beach.
So nice.
There and back in 3/4 an hour. Really nice. So nice.
So good.
Good way to start my day.
Sounds like it.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Great start.
My wifey?
My hubby? I'm doing great, thank you. I feel alive and awake this morning. Went for a nice run with the dogs and...
Hang on a minute. Nice and run, don't go.
Agree.
I actually love running. I feel so good after running. Yeah, it's like the one
All
thing
the endorphins going ping, ping,
Yeah,
ping.
I
It's
love
chalk
it.
and cheese.
Really?
After you've done exercise, isn't
I
it? If
love
you're having a
it.
bad moment,
Just go out for a run.
I saw a woman running this morning when I was coming back from the beach, and I thought, why would you do that? Why? And also, just seeing people running in the heat, I'm like, how is that pleasurable in any shape or form?
agree.
You just can't knock it unless you tried it.
No, I'm not trying it.
Yeah. And to be fair, it does take a while to get to the point of enjoyment, I would say. Like, you have to have a good level of fitness, then enjoy the running. Otherwise, you're just out of breath and you feel like you're dying. But
Well, I feel like going up the stairs.
once you actually have a decent level of fitness and you're just out for a run, it's so fun. Also, it's probably a level of efficiency because it means the dog walk gets done in half the time.
Yeah.
But it was lovely. What about you, hubby? How are you?
yeah, I'm really good. I'm enjoying the sun. We're in heat wave number 3 currently.
Yeah.
Early July. We have, Ellie and I, moved into the Clark's house on our little...
Shout out.
Our weekend house is what we call it.
Oh,
our
nice.
holiday house in Horsham.
Why are you here?
Because Rob and Maggie are currently in Estonia.
Yeah, I think they're actually...
That is why you're here, isn't it? That
is
noise.
exactly why we're here. Yeah.
Gosh, that is a lot of dog noise.
Obi is Rob and Maggie's dog, and we're here to take him on some nice walks, look after him, keep him sane, which is quite difficult. And yeah, I think they're having a lovely time, aren't they?
Yeah, they're actually on a flight to Helsinki this morning, or a ferry.
But ironically, the weather there
It's been raining actually
What?
a lot of the time.
is
Yeah.
really wet.
But they're
cold.
saying that they love that because
They'd
they
rather
much
that.
prefer that than a really hot heat wave. So,
Okay.
yeah, I think they're enjoying it, which is good.
Yeah, which is good. But yeah, we're staying in the Clarks, really enjoying our holiday house. New setting for the podcast, which is
Yeah.
quite fun.
Very nice.
But there's a lot of dog.
There's
Yeah,
a lot of dogs.
yeah.
So-
It's a special feature of this particular episode
Yeah.
is dog in the background, dogs in the background.
So last week we talked about testimonies and stuff, didn't we?
Yeah, which is so interesting, so cool.
And we ended saying that in the future, because we still didn't get around to your wrapping up question, did we?
No,
Oh,
we
we're still
didn't.
on that.
Well, no, because I think, like we said at the end of the last one, I think just as we keep doing
Yeah.
these chats, it'll get answered more
Okay.
and more. So we actually thought we'd like to do a slight pivot. And you talked about it a bit when we chatted about your stories last week. But I'd quite like to know a bit more about the early days of your marriage
Oh, here we go.
and any tips you might have. I don't think we're newlyweds anymore. How long have we been married? Nearly 2 years.
Nearly 2 years. In the grand scheme of life, it probably is still newlywed, but I'd
Yeah.
say we're definitely in the.
Oh, we're definitely in there. But how old were you when you got married?
You were
I was
25.
25.
So I proposed to Mum on her 25th birthday,
Yeah.
Aww.
and I was still 25 at that point.
Yeah.
And I turned 26 at the beginning of April.
Yeah.
This was in 91. And we were married on the 18th of May. So literally three months
months.
later.
Wow.
Yeah,
So
we had
it's
3-month
February,
engagement.
March, April, May. Yeah.
You know why it was such a short engagement?
Why?
Well, we had to fit in the regatta. It was either the regattas. It had to be before the regattas.
It was
You're
the important
joking.
things in the annual diary from your grandmother.
You're joking.
Why did it
No,
have to be
of course not.
before the regatta?
Because the regatta is the most important thing in the year.
So you-
And everything revolves around that, as I began to learn.
Well, also, I think we thought, let's get on with it.
Definitely that. You know, if you made the decision, why hang about? So
Did you do
What
any?
is the regatta, sorry?
Oh, okay. Well, there's more than one. So there was Henley Regatta, which I went to last
Just because we
week.
don't sound posh and rich enough. What's a regatta?
Regatta. So this. All my life, I have gone to Henley Regatta on the river. So that is because Granny was born just upstream in Walgrave.
Yeah.
And so for the whole of her life, she's always gone because her father, during the war, was his role in the war, because he was too old to go to war, but he served by being on river patrol. So, in case looking for the
Yeah.
enemy, basically
Germans.
On the Thames.
on the river. So he was on. I've got a feeling
with their miniature submarine that had sneaked through the lock gates.
what are you talking about?
Up the weirs.
Well, I may have got this wrong, but I've also heard that he used to drive the umpire launch at Henley Regatta.
That's cool.
Yeah, which is good. I may have got that wrong, but anyway. So my family, Granny's family.
You went to Henley last week
I did. I went on the river.
with?
Toto and Ali.
Was that nice?
So nice. Boiling hot. Loved it. Absolutely loved it. Very happy place for
Good.
me. So went in our boat. It was all about getting the boats in the water, wasn't it, on Thursday? Anyway, but sometimes used to go into what's called the Stewards enclosure, which is the sort of the smart bit. Used to go with my uncle and aunt. They were both stewards. My aunt Sue she used to work for the regatta, and so Anyway, we've always enjoyed watching the racing, sitting.
But it wasn't that regatta that dictated.
Oh, well, it was partly.
Was it?
Yeah, because it was.
I thought it was the Wargrave Shiplake regatta.
No, but it was also because we needed a venue for the reception.
Of course we did.
And the venue was Leander Rowing Club.
Very
which is on the
fancy.
river. And so,
Oh, yes.
That's at the end of the Henley course.
yeah.
Yeah,
And so
it's by the bridge.
our reception was there, and we needed to be there before all the Henley Regatta stuff started.
And we needed to go away from our reception on a boat.
And we did. We went away by boat on a canal boat.
So fun.
And my godmother brought down all the way from Oxford for us, and we went away.
Yeah. So anyway,
was
that's
all about-
part of the reason why.
There we go. So
it
we had
was-
a 3
It was
month.
quick.
We had a 3-month engagement.
That is great. I thought ours was, we were 6.
Five
We did
months.
5.
5 months.
Yeah,
So
but
that's great.
yours was a different thing. You know, we went into an established building that could cater. You guys started from scratch. You were on a lawn, so everything had to be shipped
true.
in. So that
It
took a
was
little
very
bit of
fun.
organisation, didn't it? Including picking, mussel shells off the the Pebble Beach in Cornwall,
That was
and
a lot.
slabs of slate to put the cake or the
Yeah,
cheese
it was
on.
so
and
I
fun.
love that. Thing.
proper DIY
I
wedding.
would
yours.
say that for us, a reason that we needed to get married was before our next ski season.
There you go. See, it's all important things.
It's true.
All very important. Anyway, back to you
No, I was
guys.
going to say, also sewing 180 napkins
Yeah, that was you.
and
A lot went.
making
Weddings.
cakes.
That's so fun. I
Yeah, but
love
you
weddings.
did everything.
Drinks all around.
Best day ever.
It
That's
was
the
a
best day ever.
very good day. Gumper's blessing in the church over you two.
That was so special.
Why am I here?
Who's getting married?
Who's getting married? And then suddenly he knew what he was doing, didn't he?
Yeah, it was so beautiful.
And yeah,
And then
amazing.
5 minutes after the wedding, I think somebody had said, "Oh, Tiggs, well done," and doing the wedding. Did I? Poor Tiggs. Couldn't remember anything.
Gumper being my dad, your grandfather,
Yeah.
Matthew. Yeah.
And then on honeymoon?
We went to Ireland.
Ireland.
Southern Ireland,
Yeah, Connemara. Beautiful.
West Coast.
Do I remember you saying that you weren't that well, Dad?
Just in the lead up, yeah. So back in those days, I was working, very boring, as an insurance broker. But what makes it a bit more interesting is that it was in Lloyd's of London, which is the worldwide renowned insurance market. So quite a fun place to work, very people focused. And I was on the marine side, so anything water related. But I was just trying to, because I knew I was going to be away for a couple of weeks, I needed to clear my desk. But it was at the stage where my health, with the kidney disease, by this stage, my kidneys hadn't failed,
Yeah.
praise the Lord, but they were
How
not
can
very
you say
happy.
that? Praise the Lord at that stage.
Well, it was nice not to have renal failure before I got married, but it happened fairly soon after, so it was fairly brutal. You know, we married in 91, as I say, May. By about similar time, 93, 2 years later, they'd stopped working. So it was a bit of an adjustment.
But whilst we were going out, you had 2 very bad sort of episodes where you were in hospital. You had dreadful, I can't remember what was going on, but you had to have plasma exchange.
Intravenous
Awful. You had some really horrid treatment because your kidneys were going downhill. It was. I always feel bad because it was sort of as soon as you met me that you went downhill really. You were on steroids when we got married because you were quite fat and spotty.
That's crazy.
To remember, because I can remember somebody was seeing you and going, "Oh, you put on a bit of timber," and I'm like, Yeah, hang on a minute. It was the steroids that have made you a little
You
bit
still
puffy
married me.
in the face.
So in our wedding photos,
Dad
looked
looks
like a bit of a
dreadful.
porker.
Yeah, Dad doesn't look great. You weren't that well.
Mum looked amazing. Everyone's thinking, goodness me, why are you marrying him?
No.
I was just definitely, but actually just having some downtime when we were on honeymoon for 2 weeks, that sort of stuff did settle down a bit. I think it was just the pace of life didn't help leading up to the wedding. But being in Ireland was amazing because we were over on the west coast, Connemara, which is just beautiful, and the coastline along there, it's like the Caribbean, white sandy beaches, sort of green sea, turquoise. It was just clear, absolutely blooming freezing.
So the weather was hot.
Oh my word.
Everyone had said to us, "Oh, it always rains in Ireland."
Take coats and wellies.
We took coats and wellies. This is May. It was boiling.
One thing we didn't take was sun cream.
Sun cream. We got burnt bits.
No.
And I remember walking into
Well, the
these-
Irish didn't have any sun cream.
We walked. It's where we were, so rural, and we walk into these little like corner shops,
yeah.
and with a sort of an old Irish boy in there, and I'd say, "Excuse me, have you got any suntan cream?" And he'd look. Just say,
You mad English woman.
Anyway, we got very burnt. I only went in the sea once. You went every day. It was freezing.
It was great.
The
That's
water was
so funny, though.
freezing.
Great.
Yeah. Yeah, we had a great time.
The other thing was sort of going into the pubs and you go in for some food and literally every pub what's on the menu? Ham and cheese toasty or ham and cheese sandwich. That was it. And a pint of Guinness. And you thought,
Guinness.
okay, the pint of Guinness.
Yeah.
And the problem is when you've had a pint of Guinness in Ireland, it destroys you for Guinness ever again, really. It just doesn't taste the same anywhere else. Yeah.
I'll tell you what, there's some incredible Guinness chocolate ice cream in the freezer.
Oh my goodness.
that I
Guinness
cracked.
and chocolate ice cream.
Oh, it's so good. Sorry, Dad, we did smash it last night.
Oh my
It's your
goodness.
dad's favourite ice cream.
Wow.
He did
So
say on his
good.
extensive notes, we had about four pages of notes on how to water the garden and look after the house, lock the doors, and the last line is, and the freezer is full of ice cream.
Don't eat
Is
it.
it?
That's the last line.
Oh.
Well, he
Which
can't
I-
expect any of it to be there when he
But
comes
to
home.
me, that's an invitation to help myself.
100%. It's so good. It's probably the best ice cream I've ever had.
He said to me the other day, "Oh, you take after your grandmother with your ice cream, don't you?" Because Gaggy likes her ice cream, doesn't she?
Oh my goodness. A good litre tub a day.
So impressive.
I was just going to say, I've got to tell you this. Whenever we go swimming, I say, have you got your togs? That came from our honeymoon in Ireland because we were on the beach and there were these two women with their little girls going swimming, and
There's an accent coming, Ellie.
there is an accent coming.
It was near Galway Bay.
Oh, yeah, well,
That's not the accent we were looking for.
Galway Bay.
Go away, babe. Anyway,
I'm not sure what that is.
This woman said, "Girls, get your togs on." And Elaine, have you got your togs? And so that's where we've
Really?
always said,
Yeah.
instead of get your swimming costume, get your togs.
But so then me going to talk to any other human being,
Yeah.
saying, bring your togs.
Yeah.
I've always assumed that they'd know what I'm talking about.
No.
Do they not?
Well, I don't think anyone else uses togs, do they?
Is togs another word for
Swimming
swimming?
costume.
Well, there we go.
There we go,
We've
Eleanor.
always said, and that came from when we were on honeymoon. "Oh, Elaine, have you got your togs on?" And then poor Elaine, this little girl, clearly suddenly needed to do a poo. So she "Oh, Elaine." So
Poor Elaine getting
poor little
exposed.
girl, and she had to walk in her togs all the way up the beach, picking her way across the shingle. But what always made me laugh is that she had her goggles on.
Oh,
And I just always remember that
Sweet.
she'd obviously said, "Mum, I need a poo." "Oh, Elaine."
So funny.
Love it.
That's the origin of togs.
It is.
Back to marriage.
Are you brewing a question? Because I've got one.
You go for it.
A lot of people would say that the first year of marriage is quite hard. And that's before all the health stuff that's going on. Was that a reason as to why marriage could have been hard in the first year for you? Or was it not hard at all?
Well, you guys asked us this a few months ago, didn't? And it was quite funny because you said, what did you say about our first year of marriage?
Well, I think from my perspective, I probably thought it was great. I was oblivious to the fact that your mother was kind of finding it quite hard. And I
already told you that the other day.
Yeah, I know. I was kind of, really?
That's classic man. Is that classic man?
I can't answer that question.
But I do think, this is where Hollywood doesn't particularly help, I think, in a way. There's the kind of this expectation of, the fairy tale wedding followed by just this blissful life together, without any problems or challenges. And the reality is often very, very different. But I think I would say one of the things, 30 plus years on is because of the vows you make to each other, and we made it before God as well, you are in for the long haul, and you're in for learning, growing, changing together. And it does require self-sacrifice, because if you're not prepared to do that, it ain't going to work. And, Jesus taught, Jesus, as we know, was a very relational man, and he invites us into relationship with him. But one of the instructions he says is, in order for that to work, you've got to die to our self-centered ways, because that's the only way you're going to thrive. And it's the only way that we thrive together is when our own sort of worldly desires are subdued and we're sort of thinking more about the other person. But that's definitely a process. And definitely with me, it took a while. And as I was saying, I was largely oblivious for quite a while as to how Mum was feeling.
So what were you finding hard?
I hard to remember now.
Because our life is so blissful now.
Well, I'm a totally different person to I wasn't then.
I was going to ask that as well. Do you think you've changed?
Oh gosh, I'm a totally different person. But thank goodness. But what I think, I think it's about expectations, and I think that I was looking for and longing for sort of more connection, and for it always makes me laugh that there's that Mel Gibson film, I think it's called What Women Want or something like that.
It's a great film.
Have you seen it?
Yeah.
And the conclusion is women want conversation and chocolate. And I actually don't need chocolate. Give me a bag of crisps.
I do.
And Dad needs the chocolate.
I need chocolate.
But I think
Dark
that
chocolate.
conversation would have been great.
I didn't know how to do that. My sister would always say that I didn't speak till I was 19.
I can hear Minty saying that.
Yeah, with great glee. And I'm sure that wasn't true, but it wasn't that far from the truth.
And I think...
Must have said something right on the beach to Pam.
I think it was something like,
moving on. That's my mother you're talking about.
And that wasn't a word. It was a grunt.
What did I find difficult? I think going into marriage, it was about expectations, and I think I was longing for more connection. But what happened, interestingly, was you got really ill, and your kidneys failed actually after 2 years of marriage, but you were just really quite ill. So I didn't really have any opportunity to think about myself in that moment. So I couldn't be selfish. I had to take my eyes off myself, which wasn't necessarily a conscious thing. It was just like, that's just the way it was. I'm not saying our first year of marriage was bad in any shape or form, but I didn't find it that easy. I think it was an adjustment. Because also for me, I'd been incredibly independent, hadn't I? So all through my from about 19 in early 20s, I had done everything on my own. So I would go on holiday on my own. I'd pack a rucksack and go to France on my own. I would jump on my little car and go on, which is when I met Dad, I was on holiday on my own. And
I think you'd really relate to that, Ellie, wouldn't you?
Definitely, yeah. I think I was highly independent before being together, and would just go camping by myself. And
I didn't know that.
Yeah, and you were my first actual relationship, and so it was a huge adjustment for me and a change as well. I definitely relate to that, and I found that also unexpectedly challenging. But I think, sorry, I've taken
go.
taken the limelight.
Good.
I think for me, I'm just reminded that I can still do those things by myself. I don't have to wait on you if you, for example, running. You hate running, I love running, so I'll just go out running by myself. And maybe when you get into a marriage, you kind of think you'll have this romantic idea that you'll do everything that you enjoy together, but sometimes you actually really enjoy different things, and that's really okay and good and fine, and you can do your own thing. But yeah, it definitely was an adjustment. I think that's the best word for it. It's just it's a whole change. It's a complete life change, and maybe for all of us, we all had a very short engagement period. So maybe that, I was also thinking 3 months, maybe
it's true.
That also contributes to it. Not that I would have changed that, but it's just it's an adjustment, I think.
Yeah, totally true. And actually, I reckon it's only in the last few years that I have become more sort of chilled but more relaxed about that. It's okay to say to you, I just need some time on my own, and that's all right. So actually, even me going for a swim, I mean, I'd love, swimming with you.
Which I do sometimes.
Yeah.
But you love to do it, every day if you can.
Yeah, but also I do sometimes, or I might say, in the winter and, on a rainy afternoon, I might just say, I'm just going off for a little pause. I do need a bit of time on my own.
I always remember thinking that was, because I remember you saying, that you were inherently an introvert. In other words, your batteries recharge with a bit of alone time. And I remember being quite surprised by that, because I always thought I was an introvert, because you're so good with people and you chat, when people are around, you don't draw breath. And I'm thinking, oh my goodness, you are the most people person I think I know. Whereas I'll slink off to the kitchen when no one's there and I can crack on with, preparing some food or something. But actually, I think possibly, I think my personality's, I know my personality's changed over the years, but because I was painfully shy, in the early years, and that has changed. But I thought that I needed time alone. But actually, I don't. I think I am quite energized by being around people.
I think you totally are. And it's not until relatively recently, I realised that actually you don't really like being on your own particularly. You've actually relaxed into it a bit more, but I would say for the first...
If I've got Netflix, I'm absolutely fine.
Well, you're not alone then. You're with all the characters.
No, I definitely need something to entertain me if I'm on
That's
my
the
own.
same as you, Matthew.
And a good takeaway.
Matthew will always say there's no point in doing something unless it's with other people. You're so social.
I only do things for the social. And for example, I remember going, when I was a bit younger, on a trip to Cornwall on my own. And I stayed with the Thompsons.
Gosh, I don't remember that.
Yeah. And it was like, well, what am I going to do?
Yeah.
I guess I should go surfing. So I went surfing and...
Didn't enjoy it.
It was not the same.
No.
Because I didn't have James, Henry and Tom to laugh at.
Yeah, that's...
When we were all falling off and being rubbish together. Like, I just be rubbish
You
on my
just
own.
love doing... You're just such a social person. And
And even so, we went to Cornwall recently with Jess and Reese.
Yeah.
They came for the weekend, and he's fishing mad, isn't
Yeah,
he?
he is.
And I love fishing, but he's another level. And I probably would go fishing on my own, but
you just enjoy it way more when he's around.
just for the social.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which sounds like it's
Similar.
I've
Yeah.
got it from you.
Yeah.
I tell you one thing I absolutely used to love when we had our camping plot on the island is after supper I would go out on the river in the dark on my own. Absolutely loved it, wouldn't it? I just
For a little row.
Yeah.
I mean, one of the highlights when we were, I can't remember whether we were going out or whether we were married. Maybe you remember, but we were living in London and your godmother has a tiny little sort of strip of land. I mean, literally, it's about 3 meters long by about a meter wide, metre and a half, 2 meters wide, on the river in Walgrave. And we would jump in the car after work, whiz down.
On a Thursday evening.
Yeah. And we would, as soon as we arrive, I'd light the barbecue. We go out in the punt, you go for a punt and a paddle and whatever. We go for a swim, come back, stick a couple of steaks on the barbie and have our supper, followed by a little Henry Winterman just to keep the midges away.
Explain what a Henry Winterman.
Well, a Henry Winterman, if you know Clint Eastwood, the actor,
Not personally.
as a cowboy in The Good, the Bad and the Ugly or whatever, these spaghetti westerns as they're called, he always had this little cigar in his mouth. And that's basically what it is, this little cigar. And we would,
Sit
puff
on the
away,
riverbank
keeping the midges away.
with a cigar.
Yeah. And then we pack up, head home, and
You'd be back in our beds by 11.
It felt like you'd been on holiday.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
But 2 years ago, I found a pack of those.
Yeah, goodness.
Cigars.
They were old.
Yeah, but they're fine.
Are they? How do you know?
Because
How do you know?
because I had this little cigar.
check.
No
Just had a little
way.
I did.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
When did you have this?
we were at Tidy Corner.
Okay.
And
up in Walgrave again.
Yeah, up by the river. And
Lots of midges.
Lots of midges. And I had a little puff on
That is so funny.
on the Henry Wintermans. Loved it.
Mum used to smoke before I met her.
Did you?
Did you not
No,
know
I
that?
did know that actually.
Yeah.
I had moments of, I had moments of, it had to be the right occasion, the right place, like sitting in Paris in a cafe, and I think, this is a good moment to have a
Because
cigarette.
everyone else is having a ciggy.
Yeah, of
in
course.
Paris.
And it was sort of had to be the right occasion. And then after about 3 months, I think, this is disgusting. And I, give up. And so thankfully I was in a give up moment when I met you. Otherwise, I don't think you would have actually looked at me.
Well, I certainly would have had a few things to say. Let's put it that
You
way.
were so anti-smoking, but yeah.
So in those early days, were there things that you actively talked about and put in place to work on your marriage for the future?
So a bit later, quite a few years later, we did a marriage course.
Okay.
So you didn't do like a pre-marriage course or anything like that? No.
We did something with the vicar
Yeah.
It wasn't very
I think we saw him once.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was hardly a pre-marriage
And he
course.
didn't marry us. Your father married us.
Yes.
I think everyone always has such mixed kind of experiences of pre-marriage courses. Like some people love them, some people think they're a waste of time.
Really?
A lot of people do them because they feel like they should do them. Yeah, I've had a lot of mixed opinions, and I guess a lot of people kind of just say, you can chat about it all you want, but it's the actual doing the marriage that actually
But
you learn
guys,
stuff.
you guys
in.
did a pre-marriage course.
We did,
We
yeah.
didn't finish it.
We didn't know. What this is a bit of advice to anyone doing a pre-marriage course, is actually follow the timings that they set you.
They're quite explicit on doing that.
Yeah, they tell you to follow timings, and we didn't follow any timings, so we ended up sitting there for about 6 hours, maybe 5 or 6 hours, talking about one topic, and then we were just both absolutely exhausted by the end of it, and probably was not very productive.
And so was that the what's it called, that one? Was it, did you do it
Nikki and Silla,
online?
Yeah. It was really, I mean,
Pre-marriage
it was
course.
good to like stimulate conversations that maybe we wouldn't have naturally like thought about having.
Yeah.
But definitely just stick to the timings, because we were just nattering away for hours.
But I don't think that's a bad thing. You know, it's obviously stimulated some
Yeah.
sort of a topic that's
Yeah.
got you talking.
But then
And
maybe
that's kind
after
of the
like
point.
5 hours, it gets not that fun,
No,
because you're just
I
like,
guess so.
I think it was that the finances one.
oh gosh, I can't remember. What?
There are a few tricky conversations.
Yeah, one
But
of
that's
them
the
was
point.
tricky.
Good.
It's
Yeah,
exactly. I'd
it is
recommend
the
to
point.
anyone to
Yeah,
do it.
I agree. I'd say do it.
Because otherwise you often don't touch on those topics,
Yeah.
and you go into
Yeah.
marriage and you
have no
those
idea,
things
yeah.
become challenging. It's, you know, finances and whether you want to have children, and you know, it's
Yeah, they're
these
big
topics that you don't
questions.
really discuss unless you do a course like this.
Yeah.
And it's good to go in with your eyes open,
Yeah.
because you'll often come, because you come from different households, potentially backgrounds, etc., etc. You bring different stuff and different ideas, and somehow, as you come together as a husband and wife, you got to find a way forward with these, because they can be strongly held opinions,
Yeah.
because that's all you've known.
Yeah,
That's the way you've
absolutely.
been
And
raised.
also, well, I was going to say, it's the stuff that you bring in from your own families and your
Absolutely.
own upbringing, you know,
Absolutely.
and actually that they talk about that in the marriage
That's
course.
probably been the biggest like lesson for us, is that so much of who you are is how you've been brought up.
Absolutely.
And obviously everyone's been brought up in their own individual families, and you can be similar or you can be different, but you're always going to have slight nuances, and our families are probably quite different in a lot of ways, and how we've been brought up. I mean, generally pretty similar, but just differences, and even like jobs and careers is a huge
Job?
difference.
Career?
There we go.
What are those?
Yeah.
And I feel like when you're in that honeymoon period of getting to know each other, and those things don't really come up, you don't really see that. You don't see that part of someone, of how they've been brought up. So yeah, for us that was really interesting, because it would just come out in really simple, small ways. I can't remember an example now, but just like in how we would both normally tend to do something, and one person would do it one way and the other person might do it a
Yeah.
completely different way, and you both think you're right.
Yeah.
It's and things like, you know, how you do Christmas.
Yeah.
You know, Christmas Day. Well, we've always done it like this, and
Yeah.
and you know, suddenly you've got two different things, and so you're bringing different things in. It's a lot of it is about around expectations.
Yeah.
But you know, you sort of learn,
It's
and you
also
grow.
about being prepared to change. I mean, thinking about
Yeah,
going
that's
back
true.
to the marriage course.
We did the marriage course quite a few years after later,
Well,
didn't we?
I don't remember exactly, but as you rightly say, we were distracted for a while, just
Trying to
trying
stay
to
alive.
stay alive.
Yeah.
But as we were sort of coming out of that, you did a little bit of remote work from home, where you were helping Nikki and Silla Lee with typing their marriage course book. And by this stage, I was attached to a dialysis machine in my little room. And you would come upstairs in floods of tears. Oh, well, marriage is not like this, and we need to sort things out. And I'd be, oh my goodness, you've been typing that blooming book again. And I'm stuck. I'm a prisoner in the room, and I can't do anything, and I can't run away. And you're in floods. And then you said, we need to do this course. And oh my word, I was quite scared about doing it, to be honest.
I've never seen Dad
Yeah.
more nervous.
Why were you so scared?
Literally, I've never seen him more nervous
Excuse me.
than turning up on the first night of the marriage course.
Well, it's basically because I'd had hints, I'd had snippets, because she's typing this blooming book. And all I think is going to happen is all my failures are going to be exposed as a human being and as a husband.
So do you think you were quite insecure then?
Yeah. I mean,
to go in thinking that is
yeah,
crazy.
but emotionally, I was an emotional pygmy. I really, really was. Mum would just ask simple questions like, "What are you thinking?" And I'm thinking, well, what does that mean? Why are you asking me that? Is it a trick question? I have no idea what I'm thinking. And I didn't. And now
Let alone, what are you feeling?
Oh my word, don't go there. Fine. So yeah, I was, I think, emotionally pretty immature and out of touch, and didn't really know how to communicate how I felt, what I was thinking, any of that sort of stuff. So when you're bringing that into a relationship, that's quite challenging for the other party. So it was, it's hard, I think, for Mark. So retrospectively, I can see it was not easy. And if that is not unusual, and I think with men particularly, they're not. If you think about, and I think, I look at your generation and I think you guys are way more in touch with your emotions and are way better at communicating than I ever was, or my generation, I think, in some ways. And, men are kind of, on the whole, quite surface. You talk about sport, you talk about having a pint, you talk about, the car you've got or want, or, it's kind of that stuff. And as Mum was saying, she was after a good conversation, something meaningful. And to me, I didn't know what that was. So for this marriage to survive, things had to change. And people talk about the 7-year itch, don't they? And a lot of marriage, I don't know why it's 7 years, I literally don't. But in and around that time frame, quite a lot of marriages fail and relationships fail.
They also apparently fail after about 25 years, which is effectively when the children have left.
And it's often when husband, but not always husband, wife, if whoever's doing the career, retires, and suddenly you're thrown together again and you don't know what to do.
Wow.
You don't know what to talk about because the kids are gone, and that was always the thing of conversation, whatever. And so it's bizarre. You've got 7 and you've got 25.
And
If you haven't grown together and been prepared to change, it can be challenging.
Yeah, so do you think that it's like that connection and communication which brings you together? How would you say in your marriage over the last 35 years that you've managed to keep that growing? I guess also it's slightly different, like you guys haven't, you talk about some marriages where one person goes to work and then you just see them in the evenings and the weekends. Maybe your marriage has been slightly different to that because of the context of health and stuff. But just, I guess, generally for marriages, and we're in our second year of marriage, how are we going to, what's the one thing you'd say to people who are newlyweds?
I think doing the marriage course really helped us to give us some tools. It was so helpful. So they talk about having a date night every week or a date. We couldn't have a date night because you were dialyzing or absolutely exhausted. You were just a write-off in the evenings, either after dialyzing or being at work. And so we used to go out for breakfast every Friday. And we used to then, when you came along as a baby, you would come with us and you'd be in your high chair having a boiled egg and soldiers or something. And I mean, it's kind of trying to have conversations and connect at a deeper level, which wasn't always easy with a baby in tow as well. But those were we just had those moments. And to be honest, Friday morning in our minds and in our diaries is still our time when we connect.
Really?
We've
Like
always liked having breakfast. That's mind you, I think
Breakfast
that's also
with PMs.
become every day. We like having breakfast.
not?
We just like, it's a very
It's
precious
just a
moment
moment
for us.
in the day, right at the beginning, when you don't even have to talk. Well, we don't even have to talk anymore. I mean, it's
Well, we
interesting.
do need to talk a bit.
Yeah, that's true. But, I just
Those
sometimes
the
think
women
when we
now.
go on...
Communicate and connect, Dad. Communicate and connect.
Yes. Okay, thank you for the reminder. But we can go on a car journey and, not really say very much. And you can be in the car for hours, but it's kind of that comfort and security in each other's company where you don't need to fill the space.
Yeah, but hang on a minute. We're talking about, we do need to, we do need to connect. We do need to
Being
talk.
intentional.
So 35 years on,
Still got no clue.
I've still got a ways to go, haven't I?
But jumping back, so the kind of the date time, but also one of my favourite sessions on the marriage course, which was the last session we did, which I think comes up in the pre-marriage course, which is the one you guys haven't done, was the one on what they call the love languages. That you haven't done that bit, have you?
Yeah, we've done.
we do
We've done
that.
the pre-marriage course. We've not done the marriage course.
Okay. So one of the things that they talk about is the love languages, which is how do you feel, how do I know your love for me? I know your love for me most when we had to write these lists. And mine came out of very much, if you give me a hug, or if you appreciate me or say nice things. And so for me, my primary love language are physical touch, which is, not necessarily a sexual touch, or just a hug or whatever, and then words of affirmation. And so that's what I like to receive. And the thing is that I might I might naturally give those things to Dad, but it's not what he needs or how he feels most loved. So he will, write down on his list of how he feels most loved is if I bring him a cup of tea, or if I sit and spend time with him. So his love languages are deeds. In other words, me doing things, little small things for him, whether it's bringing him tea and toast, or I think he would probably feel so loved if I actually cleaned the car, which I'm not going to do, let's face it, and or spending time. So actually, there's nothing more you like than sitting watching a film together, whereas I'll huff and puff my way through a film going, oh, this is rubbish. Don't I?
You do.
I do,
Yeah.
exactly.
Or
Yeah.
you fall
What's
asleep.
going on? I don't know what's
Or,
happening.
yeah, or I'll fall asleep.
Yeah.
And whereas
least you're there.
actually, I really suddenly thought, actually, this is how I know that you feel loved, is me spending time with you. And so I needed to switch my thinking, and also I'm like, oh God, I've got other things to be doing. No, I'm going to sit and be with Patrick because that's how he feels most loved.
And you're right. You know, this kind of revelation was big for us or for me, because I realised that words of affirmation and physical touch, giving you a hug, were not my natural go-tos.
especially not the hug.
Yeah. So if you wanted a hug back in the day, you would literally come up to me, put your arms around me, and then lift my arms over your shoulders
And put them round me.
And you described it as it's like hugging an ironing board. You know, I kind of go stiff and just, how long is this going to last?
And so you literally,
Don't touch me.
It was like hugging an ironing board. And so when we did the marriage course, you literally said, I can't do that. I can't do that. Because that's what I needed. And you said, I can't do it. And so we went and got some prayer. And Nikki and Scylla actually prayed for us. Scylla was quite firm with you and said, Patrick, you need to change. But they prayed. And the amazing thing about Dad is when he sets his mind to something and realise, I need to change, he does it. He changes. So a lot of people would think that Dad is one of the most huggy people now, wouldn't you say?
Yeah.
He's changed.
What was it before going through your head when you thought, I just can't hug you? Like, what was...
I just think because I don't really know, you know, bearing in mind, Eleanor, I had no idea what I was thinking, what I was feeling.
That baffles me.
And certainly couldn't articulate it.
Yeah.
So I'm not entirely sure. I just knew it wasn't me. It was not a natural inclination. And I think I probably inherited it from one of my parents. It was different. But also, you know, words of affirmation, it's bizarre to say, but really hard to express.
And actually, it's not totally your top skill right now as well. I sometimes
Still area
say...
for improvement.
I might say, give me some words, I need some words.
And then I suddenly feel the pressure.
I do the
feel the
same.
pressure.
Yeah.
Words of affirmation. Think.
Can you just tell me 3 things that you love about me today? And everyone always laughs. Like when I've said it sometimes when we're around other people, and they're like, I can't believe you just asked Matthew to say that. It's like,
it's like, actually though, if I cook Dad supper, spend some time, make it nice, and he'll eat his supper and he'll go, yum. And I'll go, I think what you were trying to say is, thank you, Philly, so much. That was absolutely delicious.
That's exactly what I was saying. But I just nailed it down to one word. But yeah, room for improvement. But I think this thing of being prepared...
I've got room for improvement. I could try and clean the car and that would make you happy.
I think this thing of being prepared to change is vital. So recognising areas within ourselves and our characters that need to change is the first step, and then being determined to go after it. But I would say in the natural, it's almost impossible to fully change. I think, using your own willpower it is often never enough. I've tried that, and invariably it doesn't work. And even in doing that, it can be a self-centered place that it emanates from, which is where I always think it's, as Paul in Romans 8 would describe, the spirit of life that enables and energizes that change in a good way. He says this thing, by the way, if you haven't read Romans 8, oh my goodness, that chapter is so rich.
And why is this on your mind?
I was thinking of it. I was reading it this morning again. I seem to be a little bit camped there at the moment. Yeah. And every time I read it, I see something new. But sort of towards the beginning of that chapter, he talks about for the law of the Spirit of life. And it's interesting he uses that word law because we all know we're bound by laws, aren't we? There's the law of the land, and we're all subject to them, and they carry power and influence, and they affect our lives. So he's using this word law very deliberately for the law of the Spirit of life. That's the Holy Spirit of life, who, for those who follow Jesus and have invited the Holy Spirit into us, he dwells inside us. It says that we have... Our bodies are a temple. It's the dwelling place of the Holy Spirit. We are not our own. We've been bought at a price. And it's the sort of when the penny drops over that, things begin to change, I think. So going back to Romans 8, for the law of the Spirit of life has set us free in Christ Jesus. That's where it's found. In Jesus, from the law of sin and death. Again, it's a law that binds you, sin and death, which is all that self-focused, fleshly stuff that we all have, and we're literally born into it, which is why, again, Jesus in his conversation with Nicodemus in John 3 is such an amazing thing to read and reread, is talking to Nicodemus about the need to be born again, because he understands we're all born into fleshly stuff, self-focused, self-centered lives. And in order to thrive in life, we need that born again thing. But it only happens through Holy Spirit. We can't do it in the natural. And so this law of the Spirit of life literally sets us free from that self-centered stuff. And when he's at work, that enables change. So it is definitely making a decision, right, there's this thing in my life, it's not good, it's not going to enable our relationship to thrive as husband and wife, and it can be with friends as well and other people. This needs to shift. So I make the decision, but then it's walking in step with the Holy Spirit and just saying, have your way. On earth as it is in heaven, in my life. Holy Spirit, I need your help. Make this change within me. Change the way I think transform my thinking, and then my behaviour starts to shift.
I was going to say, I think Dad's particularly good at this. So, for instance, I also remember, I think actually it was, you've told me this, but it was before we were married. You would say that you had a problem with anger.
Yeah. Particularly when I was in the car.
Yeah. Yeah.
Everyone else, appalling driver. So how they're even on the road. Speed up, slow down.
But I think it's also recognisable, and we may have said this to you before, that we think it's a family trait. Would you not say?
Yeah. I think there's kind of a rebelliousness in our family. I remember going to church, age 20, 21, would be considered one of the best churches in the country, if not the world. Amazing sung worship. And as the worship started, I would find anger rise within me. It annoyed me. And I get angry and cross, but I get angry at the top of the hat.
What annoyed you?
I don't really know. It unsettled something in me. But I remember Philly taking me to the Henley
Festival. That was hilarious.
And there was opera there.
This is before we were married. This was so funny.
This was a treat, okay? This is amazing.
My uncle ran Henley Festival and kindly gave us tickets.
Sweet.
And you sit in the regatta stands and they
watch this concert,
which is on the river, on a platform on the river. It's beautiful.
And there was this opera singer, this woman going up and down these horrendous scales. You know,
She was
way
probably
up and down.
brilliant.
Yeah, and it just, I could feel that, and I said, I'm off. I'm going to the
Dad
loo.
got
I'm going wherever.
He got up, it was before kidney failure, it was before we were married, and you were having to pee a lot anyway because you're on diuretics. So he kept getting up from the stand. You know, we were in dinner jackets and we were so smart. And he kept getting up and wandering out in the middle of this opera. And at the end, then he didn't come back. And so I went out and I was like, and you were seething. You were like so angry, and I was like, "Oh my goodness, what on earth is going on?"
Married?
No, we weren't married. We weren't married.
Who am I about to marry?
And I'm like, "What on earth is
I'm not
going on?"
marrying you.
And he just went. Eventually, he went, "I cannot stand that woman going up and down the scales any longer." And I went, "Okay."
I understood that emotion.
And I was like, "Right, okay." So I said, "Okay, I promise you, we will never, ever go to opera again." And you went, "Fine." And you calmed down. And you calmed down. That was it.
That's crazy.
But clearly there was an anger issue. So, and it would
so
come up in
funny.
all sorts of different situations.
And so what did you do?
Well, having recognised it and other people helping me recognise it was an issue, I made a decision that needs to change. And then I got some prayer for
Got
it.
some prayer. He went and got prayer.
Have you been to opera since?
We did. We went.
Yeah.
We went to Glyndebourne. Ralph and
Yeah.
Kelly took us to Glyndebourne.
Yeah, enjoyed it.
You didn't get angry?
No. I definitely prefer the bass over the soprano or whatever it is. But enjoyed it. But the thing after prayer was there was a marked change. And interestingly, the people praying, it was Nicky and Scylla again, interestingly, Scylla had a word of knowledge, this sort of bit of information that the Holy Spirit gave her that she wouldn't know in the natural about when I was at school, and just this perception at school that I was just thick. And that obviously, being not intelligent, out of year because of it, etc., had clearly, that some anger had got in through that as well. And there was a release in that, and that brought a shift. And it was quick. Amazing. We must be running out of time. Have we run well out of time?
But I'm quite enjoying it.
Okay.
So carry on.
A longer episode.
I've got two more quick questions.
Are they quick questions?
No, not really. Now that you've decided you're going to change, with the anger, but to be a hugger, have you found that you actually do you enjoy hugs now?
Yeah. So that's the strange thing. I was one way.
Yeah.
And now I'm another. And that is the Christian journey. That is the born again. It's being one way and it's changing and becoming another. But that's what happens when you come to Jesus and follow him.
The other thing that stuns me is that there was Dad. He said earlier, I was so shy, I didn't speak. Can't blooming shut him up now, can you? Well, no, look at him. He's
Harsh.
No,
but maybe true.
but like when you're preaching in church or leading a church service.
Yeah, people do wish I'd just shut up. I'd talk long enough.
Your mother and I.
Yeah.
But literally, your mother
10
and
minutes,
I.
boy. You've gone over 10 minutes. That's way too long.
We sit there like, oh my goodness, who is this
You
person?
and Gaggy.
Yeah, we're like, we can't believe, he is such a different person. The other thing is, one of the aspects about you struggling through school is that you had some dyslexia and would never, ever have read out loud. So your worst nightmare would be to, in a group and you're going to read a bit of passage from the Bible. That would have been your absolute worst nightmare, to have to read out loud. Yeah. Now what happens is we can be in a group and people will pass Dad the Bible because they want the voice.
The voice.
They want the voice. And he will sight read it barely with a mistake. And that he's been healed of dyslexia in that respect. I mean, he is chalk and cheese.
It helps that you know most of the Bible off by heart.
I wish.
Yeah.
My final question, Dad, you're sitting opposite me, Pam opposite Ellie. If we were your 25, 26-year-old selves, what in your 35th year of marriage would you like to say to your younger self, each of you?
Particularly related to marriage.
To marriage,
and...
some advice or...
1 minute of wisdom.
Yeah.
I think I kind of wish I learned the lessons that I've learned over all these years more quickly. But I think I was starting from a low base, whereas I feel like you, Matthew, are starting from a much better place. So I see you two communicate really quite well.
They're both rhinos. We're both hedgehogs.
Yeah. So that probably helps, but it'll have its challenges as well. I think the one thing I would say for you, Matthew, this is not the question you asked, but one thing I notice is there is that slight anger trait in you.
Yeah.
So when things aren't quite going as you hope, or when your wife says something that annoys you, there can be sometimes justified, sometimes not. But it's just recognizing, okay, there might be a hint of this. So I would say there is a hint in you, whereas there was way more than a hint in me. It was very obvious. So probably with a hint, it's harder to recognize, but it's still something that you can choose to be changed in.
Yeah.
And grab it early, because it will change the rest of your life. Just seeing these little traits in ourselves. And we often need other people to help us to see them sometimes. Yeah. It's an opportunity then. It's trying not to see it as a criticism, but it is an opportunity for change.
That's a great line.
And just remembering, I do think it's a family trait.
Yeah, and you know, praise the Lord. What I see it way less in you and James than it ever was in me, which means the power of that has diminished dramatically.
That's good.
Which is awesome. Which means there's probably not much work for you to do.
Yeah.
It's just a little bit.
Well, thank you.
And that's on record.
Yeah.
Sorry, Mike.
That's great. Breakfast with the PMs is real. Pam, anything you'd want to say?
Marriage is not Hollywood.
Yeah.
And I think...
and yet it is so joyous, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, but I'm just thinking about...
It's real with life's reality in it.
So I think, but just what you're saying about the 25-year-old me was coming in with a wrong expectation, probably. And I think we have lived with the reality of our marriage vows, which is in sickness and in health. And so...
Good times and bad.
Good and bad.
Ups and downs.
Ups and downs, exactly. So life has its challenges. There are always challenges. There are always ups and downs.
And no one's immune.
No one is immune. So what I think... excuse me...
Can I say one quick thing?
Please do. I'm struggling here.
No, but I was just again thinking, the Apostle Paul, he had so much revelation, so much to teach us around this. But he says in Philippians 4, he says, I have discovered the secret
of being content, whatever the circumstances.
And that is huge. And it's interesting that it's a secret. It's something that I think you only discover when you wrestle things out with the Lord, which he clearly did. But in all things, no matter what was coming against him, his emotional life was doing well. He didn't have
St. Paul.
Yeah, he didn't have these peaks and troughs in his emotions. He was content, and he learned the secret. And in Proverbs 5, it says this rather extraordinary thing. It's the glory of God to conceal a thing. It's the glory of kings to search them out. And basically what that means is, it's not that God hides things from us. He doesn't do that. But he does, I believe, conceal things, hide things for us to discover. He does that on purpose. And I think the reason for that is, if we just received everything in our hands on a plate without any effort, you know what it's like. You know, if you don't have to save up for a car or save up for holiday or something, it's just given to you. You don't appreciate it in the same way.
It's true.
And you don't value it in the same way as if it's cost you something to attain that thing. And then you're so thankful.
Yeah.
And you'll never let it go. And that, I think, is again one of the keys.
We'll come back. I reckon we need
the discovery of this secret
Yeah.
to contentment in all things.
I think that then we need a whole episode on thankfulness.
Oh,
Brilliant.
my word.
Part two.
That's
I would
huge.
say just now I've just remembered what I would
good.
say, which is this thing. I think it's maybe we came across it in the marriage book again, or marriage course, was if you want him to treat you like a queen, you need to treat him like a king. So in terms of marriage, is taking my eyes off myself and how can I prefer Patrick, and then he will do the same for me. Do you see what I mean? So it's not me, and what can Patrick do for me. It's much more of me. I'm not serving as in I'm a slave. Nothing like that. It's more, how can I prefer him over what I need, and he will do the same for me.
And this might be for another topic, but on that one, again, going back to being content in all circumstances, where do we get our feelings of well-being, of affirmation? Because the truth is, if we're seeking that from our spouse or friends or whoever, human beings are notoriously up and down. So I remember somebody saying, if you're looking for affirmation from people, and if you're getting your affirmation from people, and that's what brings you alive, then you will die by their criticism. Which brings you to the place of, if you're getting your affirmation from the Lord, that's part of the secret of being content in all things.
And what's interesting about that is, because my love language is words of affirmation, I need people to tell me how marvellous I am all the time.
Which you are.
But if I'm not getting that from Patrick or from other people, I need to get my affirmation from God to know which is how much the Father God loves me, thinks I'm wonderful. He thinks I'm marvellous, and I receive my affirmation from him. But that's not to say I don't quite like it when Patrick says, "Thank you so much for cooking me a delicious supper," rather than just yum.
Yum.
Amazing.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
A
Thanks
slightly longer one.
for being vulnerable and honest.
Yeah, and sounds like maybe next time we'll jump straight into thankfulness.
It's one of our favourite topics.
It is. There's so much to be thankful for. If you've made it this far, then wonderful. Well done, you. A long one. But I've found that very helpful. So thank you both. Anything to add?
One more thing to add. From the first pod, there has been a couple of comments from listeners saying that that they actually call you Pam.
Oh, or they refer to me as Pam. Do they call me Pam to my face?
I think they think that they can. Yeah. So we'll just leave it there.
Game on. That'll be fun to watch play
Shout out to those people. You know who you are.
Anyway, love you, mum and dad.
Oh, lovely.
Love you.
Thanks for having brekkie with us.
Always a joy.
Thank you for the delicious smoothie.
Yeah.
Yummy.
And we'll see you next week.
Yeah.
Love you, bye.
Love you.
Love you, bye.
Bye.
Bye, 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 I love you.